Good morning. Today we will see the next part of our chapter, that is the connecting link. What is actually the connecting link? We know that variety of animals are present around us, and these animals, they are classified according to certain diagnostic characters which are present in these animals. But there are many such animals which shows the resemblance among the two classes. Instead of belonging to the single class, some animals are there which may shows the characters of two groups, and such animals, they are called as the connecting link. And these animals, they are useful in finding the evolutionary line, that how the organisms, they are evolved. The first example that we have to study here, that is a peripatus. Here the peripatus is one of the non-chordate that shows the presence of the segmented body, and it shows the setae or parapodia, and body is covered with the cuticle. And these three characters, these are the diagnostic character of the phylum Annelida. These are the characters of Annelida, because these three characters, they are present in which animal? It is a common animal that we are all familiar, that is earthworm. In case of the earthworm, the body is segmented, then the setae or parapodia, they are present for locomotion, and the body is covered with the cuticle. So these are the characters which are present in this peripatus. They resemble the phylum Annelida, but at the same time it shows the open circulatory system and the respiration that takes place with the help of trachea. So the tracheal respiration and the open circulatory system, these are the characters which resembles the arthropoda. Which is the animal that belongs to the arthropoda? It is the largest phylum among the non-chordates. All the insects throughout the world, they are included in the arthropoda. The common animal that belongs to the arthropoda, that is a cockroach. And in this cockroach, the respiration takes place with the help of trachea, and the open circulatory system is present. This animal peripatus, it shows the characters of both the phylum, that is Annelida, as well as the arthropoda, Annelida and arthropoda, and hence this peripatus is called as the connecting link between the Annelida and arthropoda. Means by studying this peripatus, we can say that from the Annelida, the arthropods might have been evolved. So in this way, by studying the connecting link among the animal, we can find the evolutionary line. This is the first example, that is peripatus. Now about the second example, that is the duck-billed platypus. This duck-billed platypus, it is one of the aquatic animal, duck-billed platypus, and this animal, it gives or it lays eggs. Duck-billed platypus, it lays eggs. Which are the animal? They are oviparous. We had studied in the last year the complete classification of an animal, and in that we had studied generally the reptiles, amphibians, fishes and birds, they lays the eggs. Here it lays eggs and various other characters which are present in the duck-billed platypus that resembles the reptiles. So this is the character which is present in the duck-billed platypus. It resembles to the reptile, but at the same time at the same time, this duck-bill platypus, it shows the presence of a mammary gland. It shows the presence of a mammary gland and also shows the presence of hairs on the body. Now, this presence of a mammary gland, it is one of the diagnostic feature that is present only in the one phylum, that is in a mammals or a mammalia. And presence of hairs, a thick covering of hair present over the body, on the body of the animal, and all these, it belongs to the mammals. These characters, they belongs to the mammal. So these are the two different phyla. The characters of these two different phyla, they are found in this animal, that is duck-bill platypus. So that we can say that the reptiles, from the reptiles, the mammals, they might have been evolved. This evolutionary line, that duck-bill platypus, it tells us that the mammals, they might have been evolved from the reptiles. So because of these animals, they plays a very important role. These are the most important study material as far as our evolution it is concerned. The third example which is given in our book, that is a lungfish. As the name indicates, it must be a fish, isn't it? So this lungfish, so it as it is a fish, it shows many characters of fishes or pisces, that it lays eggs. Then it shows the presence of fins, that streamlined body. All these are the characters that are present in this lungfish. But at the same time, this lungfish, it shows the respiration with the help of lungs. It shows the respiration with the help of lungs. Respiration with lungs. Now, whether it is a character of fishes? No. How the fishes respire? How the fishes respire? Fishes respire with the help of gills. With the help of gills, fishes respire. In Marathi, there is one slogan, पाण्यातला मासा श्वास घेई कसा, जावे त्याच्या वंशात तेव्हा कळे. आपण तसं म्हणणार नाही, because we know that how the fishes they respire with the help of the gills. They takes the oxygen, dissolved oxygen, which is present in water, and after the oxygen it is absorbed from the water, the remaining water, it is again thrown out of their body. So this type of respiration, it takes place in a fishes, and this is the diagnostic character of the fish. But in case of this lungfish, what happened? It lays egg, but at the same time it shows the respiration with the help of lungs. And which animal shows the respiration with the help of lungs? That is the amphibians. Why we called frog as amphibian? Because of the peculiarity in the respiration. It shows the respiration with the help of gills. It also shows the respiration with the help of lungs. So that it is well adapted for the aquatic mode. Also it can live on a land, because it shows both type of respiration. So that this first character, it resembles the fishes, and the second character, it resembles the amphibians. So that this lungfish is a connecting link between the fishes as well as the amphibians. So these are the important animal. And students, as far as our exam is concerned, one question is always asked, that write the connecting link, or write note on a connecting link, or write note on the peripatus or duck-bill platypus or the lungfish. Okay, so here we had studied about that is the connecting link. Now the next point, that is the embryological evidence. What is the embryology? Embryological evidence. Embryological evidence. This is the last part as far as our evidences are concerned. Embryology is a branch of biology that deals with the study of the development of a embryo. What is an embryo? After the fusion of a male and female gamete, there is a formation of a single cell structure that is called as a zygote. And that zygote, it undergoes the cell division, that is from a single cell zygote 2 to 4 to 8 to 16. In this way multiplication takes place and multicellular undifferentiated mass of a cell it is formed. It is nothing but our embryo. And if we study the embryo of different animals, then at the initial stages of their development, the embryological differentiation, it is similar in the animals. That is, if we compare the embryos of a fish with the chick, tortoise, salamander, rabbit, then dog and ox and the human being, then at the initial stages of the embryological development, all the embryos, they are similar to each other. They are similar. But during the later stages of a development, the differentiation occurs. And this tells us about the common ancestry among these organisms. So this embryology, it also tells us that from that fishes, the amphibians, they might have been evolved. From the amphibians, reptiles might have been evolved. From the reptiles, birds as well as the mammals, they might have been evolved. So in this way, whenever we are studying the evidences, then we can find the common ancestry among the organism. Here our point, that is the evidences about the evolution that has been completed. In the next video we will see the theory of evolution given by the Charles Darwin. Thank you.